Glasses on, lights, camera, action. All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Alexandra. I'm your founder, CEO, and hypnotherapist at Go Burble. And today I have Colleen with us, and I'm really excited to introduce her because what we've done together is really exciting. Colleen is part of the collaboration series with Go Burble, where we're taking local Philly leaders, thought leaders, inspirers, and really taking their message to a deeper level through the Burble program. So, Colleen, I'm really thrilled to have you here with us today. And I thought you could just start by telling everybody a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. Could not be more excited to be here. So, my name is Colleen Faltot. I am a nervous system regulation coach. I got in this space through a lot of trial and error in my own life, uh, different struggles that I went through that so many of us go through, and we're not owning fully. We individualize ourselves with our pain, and we feel like everyone else has it all together, all figured out, and it's just us. And it truly is your nervous system and your subconscious mind that needs to be rewired through vagus nerve activation, hypnosis, all the things. And so when I found, Go Burble, when I started talking to you about it, I could not be more on board with everything that you do and the accessibility of it.
I love that because that's exactly what we're looking to do is work with all these different thought leaders, right? We can certainly do programs on fear of flying, but to be able to elevate this message of how important your nervous system is in terms of creating change, creating that safety within the body, we were just thrilled to be able to work with you. And it was so inspiring also. Um, Tell us a little bit about your mission, right? Like you have this huge platform where you're helping so many people. It's certainly about nervous system regulation. What is it you hope people gain your mission with the platform?
Like I said earlier, the ability to stop individualizing yourself with your pain and to be able to move through it. So many women are living a good life and not able to appreciate it and hitting their head on the pillow every night and not having any sense of self-compassion because the trauma, right? And to be human is to go through traumatic experiences. I'm a
Yep.
trauma-informed breathwork facilitator. I've done a lot of studying on the nervous system, the subconscious mind, somatic healing, all the things. And the biggest pattern that came up for me personally, and pretty much the hundreds of women that I've worked with touched throughout this time, it's the fact that we individualize ourselves with our pain. And so when we find that connection and like, wow, other people are struggling with their ability to have compassion for themselves. Other people are struggling with their ability to not go home and snap at their partners, snap at their kids because I am just so stressed out. We live in such a stressful world. Okay. Like it's insane. It is so important for us to realize pre-COVID, right? There was a study done, and I believe our great great grandparents would not have lasted a day in our shoes from the stress. And now it's just it's compounded, compounded, compounded. So we need an outlet.
Right. We need those valves. I know we talk about like all these like stressors, right? That secondary layer. And I love that what we're doing together in terms of this collaboration is we're really stripping down all of that exterior stuff to really work on the interior and your nervous system on getting into that place like subconsciously where you can regulate it from. And that's been really exciting for me to really work with you on this.
Yeah.
Um, what made you want to do this collaboration? I know, it's sort of a funny thing when people come to you and go, "Hey, do you want to work with Go Burble and like really take this message into the hypnotic state?" And everyone's like, "Oh, hypnosis, that's crazy." But you were really open to it, and I was so appreciative. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I didn't even tell you this, but I feel like I manifested it. We actually, I believe, was it the first time that we met in person at the women's event in Philly around Mother's Day? It
Yes,
was
Bridge to Brilliance, was that
Yes,
what?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so that was the first time we met, and we were talking about hypnosis and Go Burble. And I was like, I would love to collaborate with her. Like everything you're doing is so just my world, everything I believe in. Love what you're doing. And then you reached out to me, and I was like, whoa, a couple months later, like, did I manifest this? Yes, I
You
did.
did. You did. And like that's a cool thing. Like we're actually doing a whole manifestation program with Danielle Massey. Um, Did I leak that surprise? Maybe. But yeah, it's the power of the mind and when we really center within ourselves what we're capable of like creating and not only alone but together. So that's
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. That actually is like a fun story I didn't know. So,
And I talk a lot about nervous system regulation before you can be in this mode to manifest what you want in. If you're living in fear and your nervous system is just setting off an alarm in your body, having your brain focus on what could go wrong, etc., you're not going to be able to manifest what you want in because you're so focused on what could go wrong, what if I get it and it fails, what if I mess it up, etc. And so you have
yeah.
to regulate your nervous system to be able to manifest your desires in. You can't manifest from this lack fear-based place.
Yeah, the fear-based state is like a really powerful place. You can learn a lot there. I always tell
Yeah.
people from my perspective, but it's how do we really move into those like upper anabolic energetic states and really, I think what's cool about hypnosis and doing a lot of this work over with these collaborators, and yourself included, has been it's powerful to know it, to hear the stories, to be inspired, but it's another thing to feel it deeply within yourself. And I think that's really cool where we can combine these messages and breath work and feeling when your nervous system turns off. You like are like, oh,
Yeah.
wow. So to be able to
And
do that, like in these two dynamic modalities, is
yeah.
this is a game changer program, everyone, I'm telling you.
I always tell my clients the goal is to envision like a line underneath your chin, right? Like around your neck, envision a line. And once the stress goes from your body above that line into your mind, it is 10 times harder to slow down the thoughts, reverse, etc. You want to catch that stress, that tension, that tightness, that
Mm.
wound up energy, that loop in your body before it passes that imaginary line into your mind.
Yes. I always say the cup runneth over. And once the cup is running over, it's just like it's going to spill everywhere. So every little bit, it's like take the water down in the cup, make it smaller, smaller, smaller. And
Yeah.
it can happen quickly. It's not hard, but sometimes it is easier to do the work with other people. So I'm really glad that there are people like yourself and I and so many others that are out there helping people do this work and understand it, right? It's always powerful to understand it too.
And it's so interesting. I actually just had a client call right before this call about the damage you're actually doing to yourself when you're listening to a podcast, going and getting a self-help book, whatnot, and you're not being guided through it, through a personal coach, through
Yeah.
Burble, an app, whatever the case is, because you're not able to see from the outside perspective. Like you're driving the bus and you can only see through the windshield. Having an app guide you through it, having a coach, whatever the case, guide you through it, is having someone just like hovering 10 feet above you that's able to see to the left, to the right, behind you, the whole
Yeah.
perspective, not just your limited perspective where you can see in front of you.
I love that. And I do think you're right. Like everything is very future focused. Like when we're stuck in that fear state, we're really blocking ourselves, right? And to unleash that, that's where hypnosis and meditation differ. I always tell people that it's that divergent of, yes, we're both going to put you in the hypnotic state, your meditation practitioner and myself, but hypnosis is really going to paint a picture of what the future looks like versus leaving you to sort of extrapolate, find your own answers. And everyone goes, well, how can you do that? You don't know me. And I've worked with thousands of clients, literally, from celebrities to kids. But there's always like a common theme that we can put into those suggestions of how the future can look to help you release. So, and also putting when you finally get back in touch with your body, it can be so scary, right? You're like, I don't want to live through this panic attack. I don't want to go there ever again. I don't like when my body's tight. So to have these messages that we can input through the program we put together, so powerful, like so powerful.
And one of the things that I work with a lot of clients on is putting down a toxic pattern that's a dopamine hit and picking up a healthy pattern that's a dopamine hit, be it breath work, be it gratitude journaling, hypnosis, whatever the case is.
Right.
And so much of it is rewiring your nervous system and rewiring your brain. First and foremost, understanding your nervous system, understanding how your brain works, your subconscious mind, understanding that your brain is literally designed to keep you alive. Your brain isn't designed to keep you in this chill, peaceful state. You have to work for that. Your brain
Yes.
could be like, wait, that could go wrong. Hold on. Alarm, alarm, alarm. And so on top of that, rewiring the benefit. If you see alcohol as a benefit, you're going to keep reaching for it. But if you see the benefit, you know, getting up to somatic healing, going for a walk, doing breath work, calling a friend, whatever the case is, and you see how much better that is overall, that's what you're going to reach for.
Right. Absolutely. It's changing the rituals a little
Yeah.
bit. And I know we're working with that with Drew Davis on total, on like a whole sober living program. It's fantastic. Oops, did I leak that again? Um, yeah, this is powerful stuff that we're talking about. The body knows, the body remembers. It remembers everything. And you're right, trauma. And that doesn't have to be these major moments. It can be like little things. But when we can rewire them and rewrite them, the
Yeah.
power of the mind and the body is infinite.
And it's not so much what happened to you, it's your perception of what happened to you.
Yes.
I have clients that I've been working with for an extended period of time. They're on this loop about their parents' divorce and how it wasn't fair that they had to leave their school and whatnot. And then if we look at it, Tony Robbins, one of the most well-respected men in the world, right, on the planet, actually grew up with a mother in active addiction, didn't have food on the table most nights. He did not make that his identity. He actually used it to inspire himself to go out there and touch different people. And so again, it's not, there's trauma with a lowercase t, with a capital T, but it's not so much the trauma that happened to you, it's your perception of the identity you took on from it.
Right. Those stories, the
Yeah.
story that we identify and spin around the emotion that we feel that goes back and forth, gut to head, and all of that stuff. And this is where we're working. I think the collaboration process is, for me, is always insightful when I get to work with thought leaders and like inspiring people like yourself because I'm learning so much as we do it. And to tap the subconscious can happen in so many ways. So I love that you're doing it in your way. I love that I'm doing it my way, and now we can do it together. I'm curious what the collaboration process was like for you.
It was amazing, honestly. Out of all the collaborations I've ever done, no one else has made it as easy and simple as you have. And that's one of the things that I loved about this process. Your passion for it runs deep. Like your passion for it, you can honestly tell. When I was working on my business, what my business looked like, et cetera, I worked with someone that was like, listen, if you had millions and millions and millions of dollars and you did not have to work and you wanted to work, what would you do? And that's what I created my business around. And you can 100% tell that you are operating from the same frequency and the same level of passion. And it was a really delightful experience.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that because just for everyone listening, the collaboration process really starts with one, finding an amazing person like Colleen, and then getting into the nitty-gritty of like, if there were only like 5 to 7 things that people could leave with, right? That we wanted to take to the subconscious mind, what would those be? What would that look like? That
Mhm.
way, right? And sometimes we'll find something that they want them to leave with, but we have to spin it in a new way where it's like, okay, we want them to have that, but what's blocking them? And Colleen was really forthcoming with like helping me curate how do we take that message into the subconscious mind and then letting me sort of curate how the subconscious mind will be more willing to accept it and stuff. So
Mhm.
what's really cool is like it's almost like I get these mini sessions on education as I go through it. We probably should have recorded some of like how we did it because it would have been interesting. Little mini
It
doc.
was a lot of fun. And that's one of the most beautiful things about becoming a coach. I was actually, I guess, two client calls ago, I was talking to someone that is working on getting their nervous system ready to launch her business, put herself out there, you know, just that little girl is always going to be like, ah, what if they don't like me? But what if they do? Rewiring your brain to what if it all goes right? And I will never take for granted that I get to make a living and a good living, talking to people, but talking to myself at the same time. And my growth just through the journey of, investing so much in myself, going all into myself, becoming a coach, teaching people how to heal themselves. And as I heal them, I'm healing myself. That little girl inside of me gets healed deeper every time. And it's such a beautiful thing.
I love that. I know. We're always the teacher and always the student.
Oh,
Keep growing,
always.
right? We're either growing or dying. So,
That's how
education,
we're
I'm
gonna
ready. I love that.
I do.
Wow.
Go,
See,
go, go,
there's
or
so
die.
many universal truths that we all have to hold on. Well, we don't have to, but we hold on to that really keep us
I do.
inspired. Um, What was in your when you work with clients and like obviously with our collaboration, there's a goal in mind of how you want them to leave feeling. And I think that's always important for people to hear. It's like, here's what you're going to get from this work
Yeah.
that we're doing together. I'd love to hear your perspective, and then I'm going to share my perspective too from the collab.
Well, I always tell clients that like it's not the first thought, it's your next step after the first thought. So the goal of this work is not to feel good all the time, not to feel like you're walking on a cloud and you're untouchable. The goal is to feel like you are empowered and you have the tools to feel triggered and then to move through them.
Right. And I love that piece because that's so important to know that, right? Setting the expectations.
Mhm.
But we're also what we're doing through the hypnotic state and the subconscious suggestions with Colleen's work on my side. We're giving you anchor words. We're giving you things that when you think it, it's going to trigger in this like reaction, but in a positive way, right? Whether it's the word, let's say we use the word calm. When I think calm, my body's going to remember that calm state and start to reset. And it's not work that you have to consciously do. It just sort of happens the same way when you see a tiger. I mean, I don't know how often we see tigers, but if you did, your body would react. We're hoping to change those reactions so that you have this new sort of set point. And that's why this is such cool work, is that there's awareness to it, there's subconscious work to it, there's body work, there's mind work, and it's just the full circle.
That's
So,
me.
yeah. So I'd love to leave our listeners and the people who are going to do this collaboration, tell them one fun fact about you or your business that, it's going to help them remember you by. They're always going to go, oh, Colleen's that girl that had do or something.
Fun fact, I like to not take life too seriously. Like I very much live with this just belief that I'm held by God. I take risks 9 out of 10 people won't take. At one point in my journey of starting my business, I literally spent like the last of my money. I depleted like hundreds of thousands of dollars investing in myself, learning how to run a business. And I will like just go out there with this belief that everything's working out for me and I'm one of God's chosen children and it's all gonna end up better than I could ever imagine.
I love that because I also feel that I'm a risk taker. How
Mhm.
much do you contribute that to the work that you've done on yourself?
Oh, 100%. I did not grow up in a family that was a risk taker to any capacity. My parents were very much like safe people. It's funny, at one point when I was a kid, maybe around 10, my dad was given an opportunity to invest in his company and he turned it down. He was like, that's too risky. And the person that did it actually, I think 5 years after that, retired and like generational wealth for years to come. And I was like, wow, huh? Like
Right.
I would have, I remember being 10. I'm like, why did you do that? That's crazy. You know what I mean? And
Right.
yeah. And so I just have this belief and I have so much stuff has happened in my life that I know it's all going to work out. So much
Right.
stuff has happened that I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's not going to go my plan, but God's plan is greater than my plan. I just have to surrender and show God that my intentions are pure. Not that I'm perfect. Perfection doesn't exist, but I get to lay my head on the pillow every night. And this is something that all of my clients learn to do. What am I proud of today? What went like what am I proud of today? I'm proud that I showed up on my all. I'm proud of this, I'm proud of that. And what are the lessons learned? What could I have done a little bit better? Where can I push myself a little more tomorrow? And when you're rooted into that level of self-compassion and just humility, God sees, God delivers, but there's gratitude at the base of everything that I do. Could I be way bigger? Could I be, selling books and on the best-selling list at this point? Yeah, I could. Sure. There's people out there that started when I started and are way further. But like I'm still at this point one of the top 12% of coaches that does what I do reoccurring in business on a yearly basis. And that's amazing.
That's
That's amazing.
amazing. And it's, I think the work, it doesn't have to always be hard. It can be very rewarding. Again, it's changing that perspective. And I'm so glad that there's a program out there. There are people like you out there. There's now a Burble program that makes it a lot more accessible for people to do it too. Because I know, especially with my practice, not everyone can afford me, and
Yeah.
that feels awful. So that's why I've
Yeah.
been
You
working
want
to
to
do
help
this.
everyone.
I do because it's at my core. It's why I got into the hypnotherapy. Like I wanted to help people, and now there's a wonderful tool. So I just wanted to say thank you for one, taking a hopefully not big risk, but a risk all the same with this collaboration, sharing your magic and about yourself, and helping me put this together. Because
Thank you so
without
much.
amazing people like you, these things can't happen. So thank you. Thank you.
It was such a pleasure. Thank you.
And where can people find you? It's always going to be on the internet and on the
Sure.
website, but share it here too.
At Colleen Falto, ColleenFaltot, Instagram and Facebook. That's where you're going to find me the most. I have a podcast, The Power Seat, that's linked on both of them. And then I have a free Facebook group, The Power Seat, where I go live a couple times a week, just talk about tools my clients are learning, all that good stuff.
Amazing. Thank you, Colleen. I really appreciate you.
Thank
Now
you.
go download the program Colleen and I put together, and you're gonna really feel a change. And we hope to hear how it goes. Feel free to share it, comment on our socials, connect with us. Bye.
Thank you.